Welcome back. Hello, Jill.
Hey.
I'm Mike, and this is Jill.
Hey, guys.
And we got Matt.
What's happening?
And we got, as heard on episode 9, Dickie.
Episode 9, and now we're at like 90.
We're at episode
89. I knew we were close, man.
Welcome back, Dickie.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, we're glad you're
Crowd
here.
favorite.
Thank you. Aw.
Yes, ma'am.
And a hard to get guest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a busy
I'm
woman.
in demand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
Okay. You know, I'm a college student now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Being inducted into the National Honor Society next week.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Well, I was in
Yeah.
the
It is?
Junior Honor Society.
I was never an honor
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never
I
been.
know
either,
you are
but-
shocked.
But it's a surprise.
What's that?
No, I was in National Junior Honor Society, so Dickie's getting in the Honor Society. What do you got to do to get that? Carry a 4.0 for so long?
3.7 or higher.
Okay.
So many credits. Have to have been there so long. Pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
that is
Pretty awesome, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Definitely an
Big
order.
fun.
3.7 was my blood alcohol content.
That was mine too for a while, but
Yeah.
we're not there anymore.
I didn't know if that they
And
give you
Matt,
anything for that.
when you do
other
that,
than DUIs.
Yeah, you get inducted into the DUI Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's different. That's
Yeah.
called Bossier Max.
yeah, well, it's
Especially
an
at
Institute of Higher Learning.
I don't know much about blood alcohol, but I know 3.7 is probably pretty high.
It's pretty close to
so,
death.
So I worked at a treatment center. I used to have to breathalyze everybody, right? When they came in doing the intakes, we had a bunch in the 3s.
Really?
Like, it's more common than you think. I heard people say, no, that would kill you. No, it won't, because I put a bunch of them.
In treatment.
It'd take them 2 days to blow 0.
Well, don't you think that a lot of people though go by and grab something on their way to treatment?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So we used to clean out the van. There'd be cans under the van where they picked them up, and they'd bring bottles in with them. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
went.
your last hurrah.
I was loaded like a freight train
Scared
when I went.
shitless,
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
treatment.
So, yeah, we had one guy that you would take their picture on the wall to put in the laptop, for their ID or whatever, and you just stand up there like at the DMV, and he had a 3-something, and his picture was sideways. He was 90 degrees bent to the left at the waist, and I couldn't get him to stand upright. I was like, bro, I'm holding So
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't
I had to
stand
wait
upright.
2 days and retake his picture when he
Yeah,
sobered
we
up.
had to sometimes take pictures in wheelchairs because they couldn't
Yeah,
stand
yeah.
up.
Why, y'all had to be in wheelchairs?
No, they did.
Just to get down there low enough. And this fella probably thought the earth was like that at that point. He was standing up straight.
He
felt
ended
like
up,
that.
man. He ended up being a pretty good guy when he was in there for a little while and got all that stuff out of him. A pretty funny guy, but yeah, he'd been down that road a few times. He came in, he'd had all he could hold when he got there. So
Well, that is the life. I've never seen anybody with rehab life on the back of their vehicle.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, Matt, you be the
Yeah.
first one. You can scrape,
Trademark.
you can scrape the old salt and just put rehab.
Cross it out with a marker.
jail life,
Never seen anyone with jail life.
That's me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Prison life.
That's that van that doesn't have windows.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, they hauled a dude out of South Louisiana and the little town he came from to rehab. Okay. This was my favorite guy ever at the whole time I was in treatment. And he showed up, and it was in an old Crown Victoria, but like the bumpers hanging off of it. It didn't have no lights. And they had bars on the back windows, but the car was unmarked. And it just pulls in our parking lot like on a Friday night, and we have a gate. And they came in, and this little guy's in the back, and this guy gets out of the front. He's like, I got this dude in here. And they kick him out, and little guy, and he's pouring sweat, man, pouring sweat. And I'm like, bro, where are you from? And it was some way down south somewhere. And the police station didn't have the officers to haul people.
Transport.
So they basically a cop Uber, and this guy was like, he was not doing good. Whoever this company was that was driving this cat, and the guy gets out and he goes, "Man, there wasn't no air conditioning in there. They had 3 of us in the back. They had to drop us off at different." And somebody gave him pills in the back seat of the car. And he goes, "I don't do pills. I drink a lot, but I don't know what I took." And I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun,"
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's a good one.
yeah, I mean, true legend, show up
True.
like that. So
So Jill, what have you been up to?
Well, this week I started my new job and just got a little overwhelmed this week, learning new things, names, all of that. Been a very busy week of, well, just that. I mean, I've literally been coming home and going to bed at 7 o'clock. Adjusting. Well, I drive a lot now. So I drive an hour to work and an hour back. And so by the time I come home, the sun is going down. I've got to feed the animals and I've got to do all my things. And then I eat and then I go to bed. I'm sure I'll, definitely will adjust. And
You can start waking up and doing all the feeding and then
I mean, it's dark when I wake up.
farming.
Yeah.
Jill's an early riser, man.
I am. About 4 o'clock is when I wake up. But I love it.
When the chickens go off.
Mike goes to bed at 4.
Usually 2:30.
Ships passing in the night.
Yeah. So I think I'm really going to like it. I busted my ass at work Friday. I
Literally
I feel like a complete moron. I mean, my first week, and here I am, like on the floor. Yeah, and they made me go to the infirmary. I had to get checked out by, the nurses, because I'm sure somebody's like, payday, but I'm like, hell, I want to work.
Yeah.
So my back's kind of acting up, but other than that, life's good.
Okay. Matt, how about you?
Work. That's it, man. Nothing exciting, too much exciting. We just, man, it's been the same old deal. Had to, been nothing crazy.
Special.
No, nothing special, man. Just enjoying life and kids, and nothing's changed. So it's been good.
Well, Dickie, it's been a while since we've heard from you. The last time we heard from you, which was on episode 9, if anybody wants to go back and listen to that, we heard your story. That's been over a year and a half ago.
It's been 1,261 days ago.
Oh,
Come on.
wow.
Well, that's sober. That's not.
Okay. I was like, that's some serious math.
If you take that and subtract 365,
Okay, do that math.
you're gonna be about 870,
Okay, yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So it's been about a year and a half, year and 3/4. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, it's great to be here.
yeah. So what you been up to?
Well, I work, 2 jobs. So I work at Cassio's
Yeah.
in the morning, and then I go to CADA. And, CADA, we just kicked off our crisis mobile response team, y'all.
Okay, good,
So
good.
It is, so now currently when somebody's in crisis, whether it be mental health, substance abuse, cops are called. The cops have 2 options. You got jail or you got the ER, Brentwood, somewhere, psych unit.
Tell everybody what KD is, because there's a lot of people don't know that we say
Counsel
that.
on Alcohol and Drug Addiction.
Yes.
Treatment center.
Treatment center. We've got lots of great programs, and we're real big in the community, which is fantastic.
And that's located right here in Bossier City, over South
Yep.
Bossier.
And
right
then we
there.
have Fairfield, our office over in Fairfield, which does outpatient treatment and one-on-one counseling. And then we have our crisis mobile response unit, which is down on Crockett Street. It used to
Okay,
be the
so-
old adolescent center. Or
Yeah.
steps. Or,
Yeah, I know right where you're talking about.
Yep.
So, is CADA the just regular old CADA that we know of in our heads? Is that a long-term treatment facility?
28 days.
Okay.
Now, we do also have those step down, or 3.1, where they can stay up to 90 days. So they can, once they graduate from treatment, they can go into this program and it lets them get a job, then go out to meetings with their sponsor, then go see their family. So it kind of helps them, get back into the world
Step
a little.
down.
Yeah,
Step
step
down.
down.
Do y'all still have the mothers with the babies at one time?
So the Women and Children's Hall is opening in a couple weeks, y'all. It's
Yeah,
opening back up
yeah.
over
Oh,
there.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Really excited about that.
I met a lady about a year ago, and she went through that, and she was like, "It was so good. I had a baby and
Yep.
all that." So, and she was there a while, I think. So,
Yeah, we have a new director who's really lit a fire into these programs.
That's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing to work for her and to
that
be a
you-
part of all that. So
You did. Yeah, I remember now. There was a new director appointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Janet Miller, she's a rock star.
It's probably been a year now,
yeah.
if you think
Been there a
about it.
minute. She's been there a minute. But yeah, so cops are called. What are you going to do with this person? Right?
Yeah.
So our point is to get in there. They can call us. We can help de-escalate the situation and get them some other resources. Someplace safe to stay. Maybe
Besides
treatment.
jail,
maybe
maybe.
get back on their meds. There's a lot of issues there. So we've been up and going for a few weeks and partnered with the Shreveport Police Department, which is amazing. I went to the police department last week twice. and I was not in handcuffs.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
Yeah,
That was my opening line
Looking
too when I
around
was
like,
talking.
do they know I'm in here?
Yeah, I was actually like, I am in here.
Please don't shut that door.
I have no warrants.
I'm just here to look around.
Yeah. It was great. That was my opening line. We went to their roll call and it was like, so awesome to be here with y'all. I'm not in handcuffs.
And that's part of that program.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so police now, again, that's who's called. They're the front line. They're the ones that are, called when somebody's standing naked in the street per se. Right. Or, we had a guy last week and he just needed somewhere to go and need to get back on his meds. So there's a lot of resources here in town. I just don't think people realize.
I think it makes me happy to know they're filling in the gap.
For real.
Right? They're minding the gap, and there's so many different things you can do, and so many ways people go wrong in those situations.
But they don't deserve to be in jail.
Right.
They're not harmful.
And
they're not
probably
hurting
not
anyone.
getting any help in jail.
No, they're not.
Other
They
than
put them in there, they book them. Somebody's got to get them out. They go to court. Trespassing,
Cost
whatever.
them a bunch of money and sets them back even further.
and
they're
and resources.
Resources.
I had and I will
Ties
say
the police
this:
up a lot.
I've had this with Bossier and with Shreveport PD on someone out of their mind, that type situation. They both, to their credit, the department showed up and were like, "We want to take him to jail.
Yeah.
We'll take him
That's
wherever
not
you
their
want."
first choice.
Yeah, they're not trying to do that. But a lot of times, if you don't have another option,
What are you going to do?
they're trying to keep the person safe, and that's what they have to do.
Correct.
But I think that's cool with Shreveport PD. They've been doing a lot of stuff too. Caddo Parish has as well.
Yep, sheriffs have called us. I mean, they are all on board, and once you work out the politics of it, then everybody can start moving forward and doing it.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
What about Bossier?
They're on board too. It's just they're a little behind. They like to kind of see what's going to happen first, and it's all coming together.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I got hired over a year ago at CATA to actually be on this team, and here we are.
You're going to be doing this. Oh, they got the perfect person.
I know. I've been on a couple calls. I love it, y'all. It's just, there's so many people that need help.
This is kind of the new 12-step call, the updated
A little,
100 years down the road.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, the way they had to do 12-step calls back in the day, we just didn't have the technology that we have now.
Correct.
I mean, there's no, you may have a phone in the house back in 1939, if you were rich.
Yeah.
And then, of course, obviously a cell phone. The nearest pay phone is probably, I don't know, a block or 10 away. I even know I'm 51, my grandmother up in Arkansas, they had a party line.
We had a party line. I grew up on a party line.
Yeah.
What the hell is a party line?
Well, let me
For
tell you.
rural places. Like, it's one phone line between the whole neighborhood.
There you go.
Gotta share it.
And you could pick it up and you could hear like your aunt down the road talking to somebody on the phone.
Never heard of.
And everybody had their own ring.
Wait,
I don't know about the on ring thing, but I remember picking up the phone, there being somebody on there, and it'd be like,
Wait, where's the phone located?
In the
well,
kitchen.
in everybody's house.
They were all wired in together.
You share a
okay.
phone line. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's one big shared phone line.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not old enough to go connect me to,
Yeah. I'm not there either. But
Margaret, I need you to connect me to the police department. She
She's like plugging in.
yeah.
pulls it out, sticks it in. I'm not that old, but
Yeah.
the 12 steps their 12-step calls have drastically changed, even in my sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot more out there that people can get help with,
Yeah.
and that's hey. I like to see technology going towards some of these things.
Sure.
Where back then, people with conditions like mine were considered basically destitute. There's no hope for them. He's just a drunk.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, lobotomy.
Yeah, or well, I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It's a little.
people
Maybe like it's
still
gonna die
offer
drinking.
that.
Well, no, I mean that was a thing back in the day.
Yeah, they go in there and cut a little part of your brain out.
Yeah.
Go up your nose and cut a little part of your brain out, and
I think the cool thing too nowadays is, even going into the sponsor type thing, people asking you to sponsor them, versus all the way up to what you're doing, the mental health side of it. We've started to realize there's so many fingers off this thing that it could be, and I've sat down with people that ask about sponsoring, and I was like, you don't really have you've used substances, but this is not the issue here. This is a psychological, mental health issue.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do whatever I can, but I've had to study on that, but it's so interesting to me to see that it could be a lot of different things, and a lot of times the substance is just masking whatever it might be going on,
Self-medicating.
and a couple of weeks off of it, and you go, oh Lord, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, so.
And what's awesome is that a lot of people don't respond well to cops.
No.
And I mean that, you know, as nice as I can, and having you guys there and being like, hey, I'm not a cop. I'm just here to talk to you.
Yeah, and lived experience is huge in that.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why I became a peer, was because it's about no other jobs that run your background and go, yeah, we want you. You know,
Right.
so it's really awesome, and we have people that have mental health, dual diagnosis, and substance abuse. So it's amazing.
And you know, I don't respond well to cops. It's just
I don't either. For some
I mean, I work with them. They're in my facility all day, every day, and
Mine too. That's crazy.
two totally different facilities. But I work with them all day, every day, and I have a working relationship with them. But once we walk out that door, I still get a little, you know, itchy. I got pulled over the other day.
Oh, Mike, let me guess.
Yeah, go ahead, guess.
Tell us about the Porsche, Mike, because we already know it was hauling ass.
No, I don't have that car anymore. But I got pulled over in a school zone. And my immediate thought process was, crap, you got to take classes when you get pulled over in a school zone, you know?
You're in trouble.
Like the ticket's 10 times more than whatever, or what, I'm double.
I've done it.
And so the officer pulls me over. School hadn't got out yet, right? So they said it like 15 minutes before. School hadn't got out. I was doing, I want to say 31 in a 20.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
I wasn't going fast. And so I put my hands on the steering wheel before he walks up.
Yeah.
And then he's
no
like,
sudden movements.
he's like, can I see your license and registration? And I'm like, yes, sir. I have to go to my pocket. Is that okay? He said, yeah, you know. And then my insurance is on my phone. And like, he's, you know, a lot of people's on their phone. We have this conversation. Anyway, let me go. And I was just like, wow, that was, you know, pretty cool. I
got pulled over and did the same thing. It's just, don't make any sudden movements. I need to go in my wallet. It's in my purse.
Yep.
Is it okay if I grab that? He's like, yeah.
He's like, is there anything in your car I need to see?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, there's a whole bunch of stuff you don't need to see.
But not that kind of
oh,
stuff.
okay, get out of here.
Yeah.
No, he was a really cool guy. And, you know, he said, I ran your license, and it appears you have never had a speeding ticket. And I'm thinking, in the state of Texas, I never had a speeding ticket.
I was like, wait, what?
Don't go to the L's, sir. You'll find me there.
I've had tickets in California. I've had tickets in Arizona.
So I say, where have you lived?
No, I've not lived, but I got a really good one in California one time, going very fast. And I was really worried about that officer, because when he you know, I'm the guy that pulled over right there.
Yeah.
And he jumped out from behind a mountain, like a rock on the side of a mountain, just wow, and his car starts spinning like he lost control.
Oh my gosh.
And he pulls up, and I was like, "Are you okay, sir?" You know,
You been drinking?
do I need to get the breathalyzer out of your car and check you? You know, he's adjusting his hat and all that, and
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Discombobulated.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, yeah, he's giving me a ticket just for the hell of it now. Because,
Yeah.
you know, he had to go through all
shook
that.
him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You woke him up.
And in California, you mail them. You know, after you get back to Louisiana, you have to get on a website and email them your money.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just scanned a picture of some money and sent it to him.
Hey, that'll work.
No, it didn't work.
Beat the system.
I got a ticket mailed to me from Florida, and it had like a picture of me.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, well, I didn't pay it. I thought it was a scam.
Picture of you and some other dude. Like, whoa.
Like, it was to prove like it was me, but still, like, I never received a ticket that way, and I was just like, that's a scam.
I got one from a school zone right here in Shreveport.
Yeah, they'll get you.
on Southwood.
Yes.
And they sent me a picture of me speeding, and everybody and their brother said, do not pay it. And I went ahead and paid it, because that's just.
I got pulled over at Southfield. That's where I was flying through I was with my mom too.
So, does anybody, do y'all know who Brian Regan is?
No.
Comedian.
Anybody?
Comedian.
He is a comedian, and he has this thing called, one of his shows was called The Epitome of, what was it called? The Epitome of something. Crap, I can't remember the name of it. But the epitome is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And then there's
I was
another
like, I don't know
word
what
that ends with it like that, that's spelled like that. And that was the name of his show. And whenever I thought of this topic, I was thinking about Dickie, because she's almost like the epitome of happy, joyous, and free. Right?
Yeah,
And,
agreed.
And it's not just the Instagram, right? Because in every picture on the Instagram, she's with friends, she's with family, co-work. I mean, she's everywhere, like all over the place. I'm sometimes wondering, did you do all this in a day and just save them throughout the year? Like every time I see Dickie, she is like the epitome of happy joy, and that's how we're supposed to live our lives. Not supposed to live our lives unhappy or miserable. Right.
Agreed.
Again, there could be somebody who got sober and to heck with the alcohol. I can't do it no more, but they still may not be happy, joyous, and free. There may be a lot of that.
I see a lot of that.
There may be some medical issues there, or depression. There may be some of those things, but for those folks who don't have those issues, happy, joyous, and free is one of the things we're basically promised in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous.
It is.
Can you imagine, Dickie, with all the stuff I see you doing and all the places I see, can you imagine going back to that life?
Never.
And I want to tag in onto that because this hit me already, just exactly what you're saying, but you're telling us about going to doing these things that you're doing now. How many thousand days it was ago?
1,261.
Was you thinking about working at CATA as a crisis?
No, I drive the drug and alcohol van. Like the irony in that is just
the druggy buggy, baby.
the druggy buggy.
Yeah,
legally.
Yeah, I know. Legally. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, did you think any of this where you're at now with everything going on?
No, I thought my life was over.
Yeah,
I've been arrested again. Sat there, I'm in big trouble, been, kicked out of my house that I've been in for 15 years. Like, things are not good at all. And so, no, I didn't even see past the pain and misery that I was in when I got here this time. I couldn't.
And sometimes it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I remember sitting there thinking there's nothing that can ever happen in this whole world that is going to make me ever feel good again.
Me too.
I remember that. Well, you're just like 100% hopeless. I mean, it's 100%. Just like, this is it. And my life's going to be just shit. Yeah.
Yep.
But even that, like, to go from jail and all those things and the addiction and all that stuff, not only that, but to push it to the total opposite end of that, where you're the one going to people who are like us, and you're going, hey, we got a way to do this, like. I know I never thought it's like if I can just keep myself out of the ditch, I'll be okay.
Right.
And,
stay in my lane. If I can just stay in my lane.
But I talked to Jill and Lacey a while back, and I said, I think that's the coolest thing of all is people that do like you guys do. And they go from the worst of it to getting their feet on the ground, but then go, well, I'm just going to pull everybody else with me and go help them. And I think that's the coolest thing ever,
Well, it's a Joan Jett Jesus thing for me too. Like, I wouldn't be here today if I wouldn't have had some kind of faith,
right?
And willing. Like, that's all. I was just willing. I was just willing to do things different, and I didn't know how. I didn't know what. I didn't know when or where. But I knew I had to get to my ass to a meeting. I knew that I had to get a sponsor. All those things they tell you that are drilled into your head. I finally was like, okay, I'll try this stupid shit.
But
I'm right there with you.
That's exactly my attitude.
What it was. My attitude was so poor, and little did I know that. I mean, like, why was I doing that? Because I do not follow people.
No,
I've never been a follower.
No, and I don't follow rules, and I don't want to listen to what you have to say.
And I think for the first time in my life, just was like, I'm just gonna follow the sheep, and but I did it very. Angrily. Angrily.
Well, we talked about this in a meeting the other day. I had this internal battle within me that I'd sit in those meetings and be like, this is so stupid. I can't believe I'm here again. Like, I can't believe I'm listening to this shit again. And I didn't want to. I did not want to. I know that. But the consequences led me to have some faith.
And unfortunately for us, some of us have to have those consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing will... You couldn't have sold me on any of this when I first got here. It just did not.
No.
It may work for y'all. I get it. Okay. But for me, man, it's just so bad.
Oh, to me, you don't understand.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
And it's like all these people that we didn't think had a clue what we were going through, or that every single one of them were right.
Yeah. It's wild.
And it takes me to even now, where there are time periods or incidents that happen where I hit that pause button and go, I may be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't like authority. I don't know if anybody else is like that.
Rebellious.
Probably every single one of us.
I just do not like
Common
authority. And sometimes people ask me, I'll get certain direction from authority and they'll like, do you agree with that? And I'll be like, I absolutely do not agree with it, but we're going to do it because that's what we're told to do.
That's what I had to do.
And if we make a mistake, then it's on them.
That's what I like.
That was exactly my attitude.
All the responsibilities off. I have to do what I'm told, follow directions, and I can do that today.
Yeah.
My attitude is I'll prove them wrong. I'll just show them.
I'll show y'all.
Show them I'll get sober and have a good life.
Yeah.
F y'all.
Yeah.
Mine
any
was
of
like, how many millions of people have gotten sober through this program? And mine was like, they don't know who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
It's not going to work for me.
Not going to work for me.
Nope.
They think this little deal they're doing is going to work. It ain't going to work.
God, I mean, like, God bless, we all made it. And
real.
so many more. I mean, because I can
Yeah.
guarantee you all of us were so terminally unique in the fact that, like, okay, sure.
I'm not like y'all. I am not like any of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got in there and I was so special.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, absolutely.
Come to find out I was worse than a lot of them were. So, there's that.
And then I remember going in there and I was like, I got my nose up in there like I'm somebody, and then I get in there and I realize I have no clothes. I have nothing. And some dude, hold on, this is when God will check you. Okay. I go into the treatment center. I get on the male side of the building. I'm on the wing. I go in my room and a dude that had got jacked up on meth and slept in a dumpster, and he got dumped by the trash truck in the middle of the night, and they squished his foot. Yes. He thought there was a party of people in there, is what he told the police. Did y'all get everybody else out? And they're like, it was just you, cuz. Hey, hold on. He had to give me underwear and a shirt.
Okay.
Because he had them. I didn't.
Okay.
He lived in a dumpster and got squished by a trash can. He's
Yeah,
like, bro,
underwear.
you need some extra clothes. Here's some socks and underwear. And I'm like, ooh. You're doing a lot
Reality
better
check.
than I am, my friend.
Check.
Yeah. It starts to go, maybe I'm just not Mr. Special Guy here. Maybe I'm just like everybody else,
Yeah, those
or worse.
realizations hurt, and they. But that whole honesty thing is what it is. You got to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I have lied to myself for so long. It's so delusional when I got
Oh,
here.
it's almost clinical how
is.
delusional we were.
It is so bad. Like I thought smoking meth in my closet was awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
With no lights and no water.
yeah.
Yes, I'm doing good in life.
Living good,
And we truly believe it.
We totally do.
Yeah.
Like it's just this doesn't get any better than this.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
This is life.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so funny to me to see how our way of thinking and all that stuff is able to change, and everybody kind of can come through it a little different here or there. But at the end of the day, we all have to come to that realization. And I have a dude right now talking about the consequences. He's been on this program. He's headed to jail because he doesn't. The consequences are not going to be enough. And I asked him, I had a phone conversation with him yesterday, and I said, how many consequences does it take? How long is it going to take? What is it going to take for you? I'm trying to save you a few more, but you're gonna find them. You're bound and determined, like I did. And I'm not looking down on him.
Nope.
But I said, man, brother, like,
Takes
we're
what it
heading,
takes.
we're heading.
Takes.
So
You have to be done. You have to be done.
yeah, and
don't think I realized that.
now he's headed to prison instead of jail, and he's going to be there a minute. So when you keep getting DUIs and then you have old stuff hanging over your head and you keep getting them, they don't like that.
That's
so.
And see, that's where we lose the free part when they put you in jail.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
You might be happy and joyous at some point, when you, and I've known a lot of folks that found God in jail.
Me too.
You know,
That's where I found him.
Well, I used to think that's where God hung out when I got to AA. 'Cause so many
God
people
does.
would come in and be like, "Man, I found God in jail." It's like, but the free part, that's a little bit different.
Totally.
You might spiritually be free. I guess.
Yeah. Freedom is a state of mind.
Yeah.
And also
Says the lady that works at a prison.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That was wrong on so many levels. But I mean, and we do this, thing called MRT, and as we talk about, the real prison's right up here in your brain.
That's true.
Yeah. And I think that's been the shift too of thinking of getting sober and clean and having a higher power and having some folks around that can sort of, it's taken a village with me, I can tell you, and still does. But to get to that point of thinking to go, man, there's all these things going on, because my brain used to go, oh, that's bad. Oh, this is happening to me. Off the rails. Let's light the dumpster fire. Let's go. Now I have those things, but I'm able to look at them, and then I go, but wait, I have this. Wait, I have that. I still have a roof over my head. I have food at my house. I have these things that I basically need. And even with those things, I'm pretty happy most of the time. And it's just not a lot to complain about. I mean, it doesn't take me much to look back and go, oh yeah, that was a problem back there.
Yeah, me too.
So, we had, Lacey's in the hospital this week, and, they're doing some things on her, and, had some head and neck things. And somebody texted me this morning, and they were like, y'all okay? You need anything? And I went, I don't need anything. Like, her insurance, our new insurance just kicked in 3 weeks ago. It's fantastic. This couldn't have, if it's got to happen, this is the best time for it to happen. Like, and they've been great. The hospital's been great. We're getting it figured out. But I sat there this morning, I was like, man, I'm so grateful. Like, if this had been 6 years ago, this would have been a dumpster fire, you know?
Oh,
and,
sure.
And now it is what it is. It's a speed bump in the road, and, you know, it is what it is. So
If it's anything like me, 6 years ago, if this would have happened, I just ignored it.
Yeah.
As long as I paid, no matter
Right.
what it was, it's a medical condition or a ticket or whatever, I just ignore it. I remember me and my ex-wife, right after I got sober and I was doing my ninth step, went around and we had to drive to Natchitoches to pay a speeding ticket. We had to drive to Marshall to pay a speeding ticket.
Oh, bro, I did.
I had to go all over town paying speeding, all over,
Louisiana?
not just town, a bunch of towns, just paying speeding tickets.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
I went
Yeah.
to Pearl, Mississippi, and had to stand before a judge that got the same ticket a month apart in his town. And he looked at me and goes, bro, when you got the first one, like you just came back, like you did it again. I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that.
I was coming back to pay the first one, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He's like, but it was 4 years ago. Yeah. Well, whatever. Who's
Lesson
counting?
learner.
not learned.
Slow learner.
Yeah. So
I somebody at somewhere, maybe it was on a call online AA meeting, but they had 9 DUIs.
How does that even happen?
I've got
Not the happen part, but like the.
I know a guy that's got a bunch.
I got a relative that's got about 8.
Yeah.
How
I
are they
know-
not doing
I know.
hard time? Like I was in jail with this
They-
girl.
they-
She had 3, and they're like, she's going away. She's
Yeah.
gone. She's gone.
I think a lot of it's money,
Sure.
like lawyer,
Yeah.
what you can afford to do,
Yeah, I mean that probably. I never understood how they do the math on all that. Where well, he's got 8, but we suspended 6. We busted number 5 back down to number 3,
No,
and then
it's attorneys.
So confusing.
Smart ass attorneys,
you're
you know.
like, wow, no wonder he's got
Attorneys
9.
doing their job. That's really.
One of our friends the other day, we're always talking about like lawyers and all that stuff, and it's so funny, man. We talk crap about lawyers and doctors till we need them.
Right.
They were like, they're the best.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
I
Saved my
love my
life.
lawyer. But she brought that up, and I said, yeah, they're pretty cool when you need one. So
Yeah, well, I got a lot of lawyer friends,
yeah,
and they most of them are pretty good guys. I mean, I don't know. I know people that just absolutely despise lawyers. They can't stand them, but I mean, everybody. You need a lawyer. You need
that
a
goes
lawyer.
probably back to divorce, child support issue. I would imagine.
Yeah,
So,
until that same lawyer is bailing you out of jail, and
exactly.
getting your sentence suspended
For the
and-
ninth time.
for the 9th time, and we wonder why you get 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's been quite a change as far as, and I think the like we were talking about the mental health side of it too, is like learning to evaluate and be grateful for things, and gratitude fixes a lot of things. It can fix them quick. And when I do have that, oh crap running in my head, like, oh, poor me, or oh, this, or oh, that, man, I mean, this sounds crazy, but I literally drive down the road most days, and I'm out working, or I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, it's just awesome to be here. Like, I don't have any expectation for anything.
That.
I love the way life is today. I love the people in my life, and I never thought I would say that. Never.
Right.
And to just not be miserable every second of the day. You know, do I have moments? Yeah. But when I have that stuff, I quickly go, gratitude list.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I go, man, I just don't have any issues. Like, and Mike said it the other day, and it hit me a couple of weeks ago. This is what I asked for. Like, why am I being this way? This was what I wanted to happen in the first place, and this was the things that I wanted. And
this is what I prayed for.
yeah, that's what I prayed for. That's what you said. And but that really hit me, because I was like, that's exactly what I prayed for. And now I'm like, oh, it's poor me. You know, like, idiot, you wanted this. So, you know, but it's great, you know, and I mean, it's been a credit to Alcoholics Anonymous.
When we were doing this stuff, like in our addictions or alcoholism, whatever we want to call it, when we were doing it, we couldn't just, you know, most of us, like Jill, just went to a brand new job by choice. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, went through the interview process, applied, left one paying job to go to another.
That I was incredibly happy at.
Yeah, that she was, you know, she actually liked.
Yes.
And then she goes to another just because she could. She didn't get... You know, wasn't one of them, I got to hurry up because I got to run out of money kind of things.
Or I'm about to be fired, or that kind of stuff.
That's some of the freedoms and you know, that we don't even think about whenever we are first coming.
I used to stress so much about like financial stuff and doing all, and it was always a constant. And even if something went good, I would go, oh, well, I got this, you know, it was never to just stop and be, okay, we're all right. You know? And now, like the promises talk about, you know, it says that we're going to know a new freedom financially, you know. And I thought, oh, I must hit the lottery. I must buy a lottery ticket. I'm gonna get a couple meal, and that's what they mean. That's not what they mean. And it finally got me to the point to where I went, I'm physically able to work. I have experience in the field. I can always get a job. I'm not going to starve to death, no matter what happens. Fired, run off, quit, move on somewhere else. It doesn't matter. I've got experience in doing that. They're always hiring in that field, and I'm able to work and go do that. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not, you know, and there's no pressure then. All the pressure's gone. It's like, we'll just do what we can do here. And, it took me a little while to realize that one. And I always thought I had to have a bank account at a certain number, or the things at a certain number. Yeah. And
Expectations of things.
And
it's
it's
a lot
like
of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Unnecessary.
And delusional.
Yeah.
Especially my things.
Me too.
Well, and it is delusional, because it's kind of like we're telling God, well, I'm gonna be okay when my bank has two commas in the statement, or one for that matter, for me, you know. I'd take that, but it's like we're gonna tell God, well, you know,
I'm not going to be happy unless I have it.
I'll be happy when.
And once I get there and you get me there, well, that may not be what God wants you to do. Well, and so, you know, I have to look at the things and go, are my responsibilities as far as my kids, my family, are they taken care of? Okay. Nobody said I get $8 gazillion in the bank. Nobody said I get to do all these things. That's not what's promised. And I have to sit back and go, hey, you spent a good portion of that career you were in jacking it up every way you could. So if you're set back at all, it's because I did that, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I don't know.
Brian Regan's show was called The Epitome of Hyperbole, which is the epitome of hyperbole.
It's good.
I just had to look it up.
One of those smart people things.
That was just really bothering me. I still don't know what either one of those mean.
I haven't listened to him very much, but I know who he is.
You know, and you know, you want to you grew up or lived in Anchorage?
Fairbanks.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know where North Pole is?
Yeah. So my dad lived there when I was older.
Yeah.
Before he got divorced, he moved to North Pole.
I went to North Pole.
I saw that
when I was up there.
I saw that.
So
way cool.
That was pretty. Well, actually,
the Santa Claus house.
We went. We did the whole. We drove in. We flew in to Anchorage, and got to Anchorage at about 7 at night. I want to say, and drove to Fairbanks.
in the daylight.
And no, it was dark.
Oh, okay.
And roads were covered. We drove through Denali.
Oh, you went in the winter.
We went a month ago.
That's winter.
Roads were it was winter. It was 7 degrees.
Yeah, that's winter.
Roads were covered in ice, snow coming down. We're probably not smart doing that, but we got to Fairbanks, and then we got up the next morning and drove over to North Pole right there by it.
Yeah.
And took pictures of whatever we could to post and send back, and then drove back through Fairbanks and went back to Anchorage, got on a plane, headed back. But I remember thinking whenever me and him were out there in Denali, you pull over on the side of the road and there's these mountains that are bigger than any mountain you see here in the continental United States. I mean, these things are just absolutely huge. They just take up so much of,
and you're surrounded by them,
and they're everywhere. Everywhere you're in the middle of, and just it. That is a freedom I would have never been able to feel had I been drinking.
Right.
I mean, even if I'd have showed up there drinking, I would not have enjoyed any of that.
Not impressed at all.
Well, plus, the sweat's going to freeze instantly because this is so cold. It's one of those where you get out of the car and your nose hairs freeze up.
I love that. You
eyelashes.
can feel it going.
You can.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah, I found this little. There's a river that runs through the mountains, and it's got this clear water and all this blue white ice floating down them. And I got out of the car and I was like, I'm gonna go down to the. And I walked out about 20 yards, and there were paw prints in the snow. I was like, I don't know what.
Never mind.
I didn't bring my paw decoder. It wasn't a koala bear. I can tell you that.
Probably not.
Mountain.
Something bigger than myself is on this mountain.
And so I turned around and got back in the car, but we saw a couple wild moose.
Yeah.
That just.
Well, really, that's the only kind of moose there is, right? Is wild.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was
moose.
thinking. Go where the tame moose are.
Domesticated
Farm.
moose lives in.
Farm raised moose.
Yeah.
That's what they serve at the grocery stores.
Moose is really good. And actually, my dad, he lived in North Pole, and he had a moose that would come every year with her babies in the winter, and he would feed her a carrot from his mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some crazy Alaska shit.
It is some crazy Alaska shit. That is my dad. That is my dad.
I love it.
For real. And he'd be taking pictures and be like, what are you doing? It's kind of awesome, actually. My kids
That was their thing, man. That was their thing.
Yeah. He came back every year for those carrots, I guess.
So the babies came back to get the guys been messing with their mom. All these.
The dad shows up. He's like, "What have you been doing with this dude with this carrot?"
Actually, Alaska Wildlife and Fisheries came out to his house and told him to stop.
Really?
Yeah, somebody reported him.
Because it'll get them used to it. And
they'll
It's a
approach
carrot,
humans.
And you can see them. There was one eating just in the median of the highway.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they standing out there eating.
You're in their house.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of them hunting shows, Steven Ranella, all those guys going up there and stuff. And I think anywhere that you go, that they're like, it's okay if you just shoot an animal because you're starving to death. Like there's no season to it.
Yeah.
You're in a wild place then. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
You might be surprised. Like they don't take kindly.
No, they don't. But I've seen where they like you have to prove, hey, I was stranded. I had to kill. But still, anywhere down here, you're not going to starve to death in Louisiana. We're going to get you out of deer camp and get you. You know what I mean?
No.
And yeah.
Dickie, is it true? Because I've only heard rumor. I've never actually Googled it or looked it up. But the Native American population up there can hunt whenever they want.
Well, they can, but they have to get approval. So if someone passes away, for example, they have what they call a potlatch, and they fax the form over.
Gotcha.
Government sends it back and says, "Yeah, go ahead," and they can do that anytime.
Okay.
And then certain species too are only
okay. So it's just not. They can't just go kill a.
Cannot.
Okay.
But they have a lot more freedom because it is their land.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And some of the things you see up there are so embedded in the Native American culture. And I mean, you totem poles.
Yes.
Like you don't see them. And my mother's brother married an Alaskan Native, a Native American from Alaska, and they're still married for 45, 50 years later. And so she kind of made us understand the culture a little bit better than if we were just complete outsiders over the years. But you see some amazing stuff.
Oh, for real.
Oh, I so want to go.
Well, come on.
All my favorite
summer though. I'm telling you, it's a little better in the summer.
All my favorite outdoor shows are the ones in Alaska.
Okay.
I love watching
impressive.
Alaskan live off the land kind of stuff.
Yeah.
really interesting, information. And
sounds great when you're in a heated room.
It does.
You step out of that car.
Yeah, it's fun watching it on TV down here.
All those plans. I remember me and Wyatt going up there. We're like, I brought my camera and hooked the microphones to it, and we was gonna make videos. And you step out of the car, and you're like, probably not gonna do it right here. We'll do it,
And you were in 7 degrees.
Yeah, some of it.
So
was
imagine
7.
40 below.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I
I'm
grew
out.
up at 40 below was average. I've seen as cold as 67 below.
I'm tropical, bro. I got to be somewhere warm. I can't do that.
Camera
That ain't
would
your
even
place.
work.
I don't mind the cold if I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean,
There's
like,
nothing to get me ready for minus
Of course,
40
I
degrees.
used to run around in mini skirt and Keds, when I was a teenager. Like, you had a ski jacket.
Wow.
You had stuff behind your seat. My dad wouldn't let us leave without. He's like, "Is that what you're wearing?" I'm like, "I'm out of here."
I guess
I'm going.
I guess you get used to it.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Well, I thought it was like that everywhere.
Yeah. Well.
Growing up, I thought everywhere was like Alaska.
Wow, man.
It gets pretty hot
I came
in
to
the
Louisiana
summer, too,
and realized real quick that
Yeah.
something's wrong here.
They say the word snow anywhere in the South, and we're like, shut everything down.
And what a lot of people don't realize is up in Alaska, they also have special tires they put on their cars
do?
that are like knobbies,
Stubs, they call them.
stubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to have them, some of the people actually already had them on. That was
Yeah.
mid-October.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I lived in Colorado, I had winter tires, and everybody would go and get them changed out, but it didn't have like knobbies.
They're studs. They call
Little
them
metal studs.
Yeah.
I was in the tire
Traction.
business for about 10
for sure.
years. And in Little Rock, the news, when I worked up there, the news channels would come in and they had a set already studded for all their vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And when the weather started getting bad, they would change them all out. And then we stored the extra ones. And yeah,
Of
I
course, we
dealt
grew
with
up with
that.
trucks and 4-wheel drive, so we didn't change out our tires. Our tires were pretty much ready. So
But I talk about going to Alaska and seeing those mountains and all that wonderful stuff as being part of happy, joyous, and free.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you, like where it really hits home, and because some of that stuff could be kind of pie in the sky to some folks, I get that.
sure.
Last night I got off work a little early. I've been working till 10 every night. Last night I got off about 6, and I drove over to North Fort Worth and I picked up my grandson, and I took him to the mall to help me find some shoes. And he would not shut up. He wouldn't quit asking questions. He's at that age where 1,000 questions.
How,
come
when,
out
what, why, where?
everything coming, and then he wants to go do this and and you know what? I'm not his dad, so we can go do that.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
No restrictions.
We can go play all the video games in the arcade. We can go get you whatever you want, And then I just take him home, dump him back off with his dad. But that to me, that was happy. I loved doing that last night. It was absolutely just a wonderful time. And
Sounds like it.
yeah, and that is a part of happy, joyous, and free. When I got pulled over by that police officer in that I knew I wasn't going to have to leave with him. I knew that I was going to walk away. I walk away with a ticket. But I'm
Worst case.
probably not going to have to leave the car here and go get in the back of his, unless he's just like one of these, country cops where they start pistol whipping you right out of the blue. No, I just
What the shit?
like looking at Jill. She works with a bunch of country cops. So, they had pistol whipping
Just good old
practice
boys.
every Tuesday.
Dude, stop.
Only from 6 to 9, though.
Yeah. It's just, all right, everybody get your pistol whipped.
We've got to
out.
get you certified in pistol whipping. I feel you on the grandkid thing, man. And have one now. He's fixing to be 2 in January, and don't see him as much. He's out of town, but FaceTime him and do all that stuff. And I get on a tractor at work, and I'll FaceTime him, and then he wants me to turn the camera facing out like he's driving the tractor. So I'm driving the tractor on FaceTime, but it's facing out. So he has to envision, because he loves that kind of stuff. And so that's what we do, and I didn't think that kind of stuff would be happening. I didn't ever think about a grandkid when 6 years ago. So
Yeah, mine are my adult kids. They're adults now.
yeah.
And so, I first got sober. All I wanted was my kids. I wanted my kids back in my life. My kids won't talk to me. They hate me. They're mad at me. And I had every right to feel how they felt. So my sponsor was like, stop texting them. Stop calling them. You gotta back up. You need to make it, they have a choice now. They can decide. It's not like when they're younger and they have to come to the house, So, all I know is I went to brunch with them all last week, and that was the highlight of.
And keeping expectations on that kind of stuff. I have some grown ones too, and I have some that are, and there's different relationships there still, and you have to give them that space, and they may make a choice that you don't want them to make, or you wouldn't like them to make, but they're valid to make that. And, that's where that serenity and all that stuff comes in, is just to go, I made this mess. Maybe it'll work itself out down the road. Like I talking about the grandbaby with the grown daughter, and that's been a different deal. And now Caden's FaceTiming, and we're talking on the phone all the time. And things tend to roll around. And I think as we do better and people see that, and they go, well, that's actual genuine.
Sure. They're
genuinely getting better and mean well. And, things just have a way of doing that.
But how many in I know in days, how many years?
3 years and 6 months.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And 1 day. 3 years, 6 months, 1 day.
That time just flies.
It does. It only gets better. Like, I remember hearing people say that, and I'm like, you're so stupid.
Man. Remember Batman used to say it all the time. It gets better. It gets better.
I love being out with, just out and I jump on the elevator at the hospital yesterday. There's one of us that's sitting in a wheelchair. I didn't even recognize them. They had a surgery, and I'm just like lost in my own world by myself. I hit the elevator button, it opens, and there's a lady there with a nurse behind her, and she's sitting in a wheelchair, and I just hop in. I'm not paying attention. They're like, "Hey, Matt," and I look down like, "Oh, hey," and they had up surgery and they were going home. They were fine. But I love being out and just like running into our people, Sure. And, my brother's not one of us, and he always says, y'all are like the mafia, except y'all don't tell on each other. I'm like, that's a good description. So we're everywhere,
You talk about that, but like for the first time ever, I'm not dodging.
Yeah.
You see someone and you turn around, or I can't go there because they're there, or I can't do this because, I stole their pills, or, all that stuff. And it's like, that's the free right there is I'm not running or hiding.
That takes a big thing off, it's like you do the best you can with people and let it sit there. And I've noticed too, like I would have relationships, I say relationships, but interactions with people over the years, and it would be an argument or something along those lines. It's like, now we're never going to speak for 50 years, over one stupid thing. And now it's just like, hey, we had that, move on. And a lot of people that I'm actually pretty good friends with now, we've had issues before, and we've worked it out, and we figured it out, and we just kept going. And I love them to death, and it's just part of life. But
do that grown up thing and talk about it.
Yeah, like grown up stuff, I don't know, but yeah. So I don't know.
I think your perspective is huge on that too. That's what mine is. I didn't wake up in jail today.
Yeah.
Period. I only have up to go from there. Right. I did not wake up in jail, and I'm sober.
Mm-hmm. Not thinking about a bottle or
any of
a
that
pill,
stuff.
or
can't go anywhere because you don't have something so you can get there. Or,
really any of the negative stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like my life back then was always based on negativity and bullshit. And now it's just quite the opposite. It's gratitude and all the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't be grateful and hateful at the same time. You just can't. Whether that hate's directed to someone else or yourself, you can't be.
And talking about hateful and being hateful of other people, I've noticed something as I've gone along, and people that are successful and they're doing well in life, and I don't mean successful necessarily money. I mean happy, joyous, and free, what we're talking about, whatever their financial or other situations are. You never hear those people talk crap about other people. They're never, look at so-and-so over there. Look at this, look at this, look at that. You never hear that. The only people you hear that out of are people who are inside not doing well.
Yeah.
And that was something that my attitude changed on. And when I look at that kind of stuff now, I go, man, I feel bad for them. Like, I wonder what's going on that they, like, I'm not even mad about it. Like, I recognize it now, what it is. Yeah. And it's like, man, I wish they wouldn't feel that way. And used to, I'd be like, what did they say about me? Oh no, I'm good.
Because it's all about you.
Yeah. Or my friend or whoever, and it's like, wait a minute, they've got some issues going on that is causing this. And I think it's cool to be able to look up today and recognize a lot of that stuff for what it is and just go, okay,
Jesus help them.
And
Jesus help them.
Yeah. I just, when I look over, or back at my many, many years in addiction, and I remember crying quite a bit. I was highly depressed. and had panic disorder and panic attacks. And it was a complete shit show. And I remember, like I've said before, just crying to my mother. I said, this just can't be it. And I can only imagine what she felt when she would hear things like that. She goes, I just want to feel happy, Mom. And it's so weird because I've been happy for so long, but to remember like where I came from and never forget it, because I ran and I used just to escape the panic attacks, the fear, all those horrible things. And, you get to work through them and face them and get rid of them. And I'm just happy for no reason.
It's awesome.
And it's my biggest blessing. I'm serene for no reason. And my body's not shaking on the insides, and I'm not scared I'm about to have another panic attack. And I have found joy in life. My joy, I love being out here on my property and doing my thing. Cause if I was to sit around and wait for all these things, I thought I needed, I would be missing out on life. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to get some pigs. Cause why not? And some chickens and just do some things that make me happy. Like today I was mowing and I was just like, look at all this. Mm-hmm. Like I have a garden, I have a house, and I never thought I'd have a house. I never thought I'd have acreage and all the things that I have. And I'm so highly blessed. And I just, like we all say, I would have sold myself short. But, the fact is I get to wake up every morning. I get to feel good and I'm at peace and I'm happy majority of the time.
Yeah. I talked to one of us last night, a friend of all ours, and she's been on the show several times. And we were talking about like life and relationships and things like that. And she was asking me about that. And it was actually really good. We talked like for a while but she was like, I think this or I think that. And she was asking me how, as I went along, and I went, where I got to the point where I was divorced. I had my kids half the time. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment, working a regular job, not making millions of dollars, not in a relationship with anybody, just hanging out with my kids, fish. And I sat there one day and I went, I'm good. Like I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing, man. My life's good. My kids are happy. What do I need? Like I got everything going on here. And that's when I started to realize I'm just content with where I'm at. And I don't have this thing of, I should be doing that. That's the worst thing in the world.
Oh, for sure.
It's a joy killer.
Expectations. It's like self-sabotage. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Everything's beautiful now. I mean, there are days when it's not so beautiful because that would be
that's life,
not human. Though. Right. But I can look at it on those days and just go, oh, hey, this is life. And I feel like shit today and this will pass.
My brother early on, he's not one of us, but he's had my back. Both my brothers have, but one day I was like, I'm just having a bad day. And he's like, you just think because you're like in recovery or something that you're special, like that regular people don't just have a crappy day. And I was like, oh, y'all do too? He's like, yeah, dude, get your head out of your butt. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll be all right then. So,
well, the cool part about that is you can change it any time. I learned that early on.
Yeah.
Restart
talk about
your
the
day.
pink cloud, right? So, to me, my sponsor says I can stay on that thing as long as I fucking want. So
Amen.
I'm on it today and I'll be on it tomorrow because I'm just not willing to let anyone or anything take anything from me today. I'm just not.
Isn't that crazy how
it's all, myself. I gave that over or I let them bother me or what they did or they pulled out in traffic.
Isn't that interesting how we just let people do that?
Yeah.
And then we blamed it on them?
Oh, it was all their fault. It was all everybody's fault anyways. It was always everybody's fault anyways. But it was like, well, they pulled out, Jesus helped them be a better driver. That's what I say now. And it goes away. And so, yeah, you may wake up, sometimes you just wake up irritated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But after a few minutes, I can pray that shit away. I'm not going to live that way anymore.
I don't blame you.
Not. And it has allowed me to have an amazing life that I'm really proud of today. And those are things I never thought I'd be proud of myself.
We're all proud of you, and we've all been in the rooms with you, and and everybody that comes on here. There's a reason we bring everybody on here, because we love to hear the success, and the ups and downs of it, so that other people can hear it and they can understand that this is what this is not a isolated case. This is what we all do, and whatever cover that book takes, it's still the same deal at the end of the day. And it's pretty cool to see your progression in things. And I sent you a text last year, but I open up something or go on the internet and there's Dickie at an event with a dress on and looking all nice, and I'm like, look at you, and I send her a text, and I'm just how we don't think about those things sitting in jail. And it's cool to just see everybody's life just getting a little better, a little better, a little better. And we're proud of you. Thank you for coming too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here, Dickie.
Y'all are fabulous. Thank you.
Well,
You're all a big part of my recovery. I mean, when I got to AA this time, there the three of you were. You know? And Matt came up to me after one day. I sat there and cried the whole meeting, and he came up and said, "It's gonna be okay." And I'm like, "Fuck you." Yeah. But I mean, I took it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I said a lot of that stuff internally.
I tell my spot sees this. I'm like, tell your story walking. Yeah. In other words, if you're crying, keep crying and bringing your ass in here and sit down. If you're fussing and bitching, keep bitching and come in here and sit down. I don't care what your attitude is, whatever's hurting you, just keep repeating the same thing, because it's going to stop eventually.
But the point is getting in there. You got to go.
Got to go.
You got to do.
Yeah.
I love that it's an action program. I love that we take responsibility. I love that we take accountability, because those were also some things I didn't really have. I never took responsibility.
And the cool interaction in life with people, Hayden, our friend that's been on here, he manages a restaurant. I'm not going to say which one it is, but the other night I go in to go have dinner, and I'm waiting on Lacey to come out of the restroom, and I've got a big key ring with all this colored keys and stuff. And I'm just standing by the door waiting on her, and this little baby's toddling around the restaurant, and he sees my keys and he points, and I held them out and shook them at him. He comes and gets them, and off he goes. He's got my keys. He's gone. So no big deal. And I end up playing with the baby for a while. Lacey comes out. We go up and get food. It was Hayden's kid. I didn't even know that. I got up there. I'm like, man, that baby took my keys. He's like, that's my kid. I'm like, oh, I never met him, and, I just love that kind of stuff with people, and seeing them do better. And his wife and kid and his mom and dad and all them were up there eating dinner that night, and I got to meet all them. And
awesome.
And he's doing really good too. So
yeah, he has a commentator the other week.
That's a really good benefit about getting sober early. Getting sober at a young age. My son got sober at 19. And,
that's awesome.
He's never worried about where he's going to, take my grandson, or now even my granddaughter. He's got 2 kids now. Like, that's not even an issue, He gets to worry about real stuff, like staying up all night, feeding the baby, or, changing a diaper, and not, I'm going to get arrested for driving around with my kid while I'm under the influence, know. And then, of course, you have those moments where, dad moments you get to actually have, and I missed out on a lot of that. But that's okay, because that recovery was passed on to my son, and he gets to enjoy those benefits, and I still get to enjoy the benefits of being a dad.
Well, and a grandfather.
And a grandfather. Grandfather.
Do they call you grandpa?
Pepaw. They call me. I got 4 of them, and 2 of them can talk. And they call me Pepaw Mike.
What does that just send chills down your spine? I mean, like...
Well, the ego thing sends chills down my spine. Just call me Mike, kid. I don't say that. I don't say that. They now last night, whenever he was in the back seat and we were riding over to the mall, he kept calling me Daddy. He kept saying, "Daddy, I mean Pepaw. Daddy, I mean Pepaw."
Those just kids, man.
Well, me and my son do sound a lot alike, and I'm up front, and he's used to saying Daddy constantly.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very.
He's not saying drunk Mike.
Yeah. Or my daddy's dad. Or calling me Mike.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes when people lose respect for you, they start calling you by your first name.
Yeah.
So good things,
really good
things. We found it in time to be good grandparents and good parents as well.
Yeah.
So we get to enjoy it double time over. So anybody got anything else, guys?
Thanks for coming, Dickie.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
Dickie, thank you for being here.
I love
It
being with
works.
you guys.
We do recover, man.
We do recover.
I
say
will
that
be,
all the time.
Next Saturday night, I will be at this exact time at the Koala Club doing step 6 and 7.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. They do a step study every Saturday night at 5:30, and they've asked me to do step 6 and 7 next Saturday night. So
That's awesome.
I'll be there just running through step 6 and 7 and sharing a little bit of experience, strength, and hope with the gang over there. So if any of our listeners can come out, do it.
Love the Koala Club.
I do too.
Love that place.
Absolutely. Place got me sober.
Me too. Me too.
Can't ever complain about it. No. So, but anyway, that's about it here from the farm, or the lab, as Matt calls it.
Pig factory.
The pig factory.
Hey,
Stop.
Bacon and eggs factory. We got it going. But, okay.
Or chicken and bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
Dang,
We
Mike.
got homemade
Watch
bacon
it.
and eggs walking around out
Watch
How
there.
do we get hash
eggs.
browns with that? You know? Come on, Jill.
Jill's going to grow potatoes.
She's got a garden.
I mean, I just may.
Hey, and get some more animals. That'd be cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the plan.
Anyway, we have been at Rule 62 Studios here in Bossier City, Louisiana. And as always, we're the Grouch and the Brainstorm.